Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. My name is Paulina and I have a reading for you today, and it came through pretty clear this morning, starting last night as I was drifting off, and then had some dreams that spoke to me very clearly, and I feel that there's someone who wants to at least energetically tell you that they are sorry for how they behaved. And I think you actually may have been, I think this is actually like a male-female dynamic. It's specifically not friendship. Maybe it could have been professional, maybe actually. It could have been a mentorship. It could have been romantic. I guess it could have been friendship. I meant more like, it's not like a gal-pal relationship. Like, it is definitely male-female here. And this person feels like sorry for how they behaved. And I'm getting that you also feel sorry, but I think that your sorriness comes more from just how the whole thing happened. I don't think you feel like immense guilt. But you also actually could be the person who is sorry, even if you're not in touch with that feeling really. So somebody's sorry here, and that you wouldn't be listening to this if this wasn't your energy. And I think there was a lot of hastiness in the situation. Both people were like, maybe emotionally upset or triggered is a word I love. I think therapists don't really value that as a word, but I think it's a word. This is about a loss of innocence. So something was once sort of sweet and innocent, and maybe you changed, and there was and also this person, I think, maybe became less kind. Maybe there was a time when there was more like joie de vivre in the relationship in general. It was like a better vibe, I think that your intuition told you to like temper the relationship, to like maybe step back, because I think you sensed that what was going on with them wasn't just about you, but you were just like, I have to step back here, because you were looking, I'm sensing travel with this card right now. You were looking for something they didn't have. Energetically, you were searching for something that wasn't being offered. Okay, we got the marriage card, but we also got, this is about marriage celebrations. This is about not being able to meet those financial goals. That could be a thing right now, that you're working towards things and not seeing results. But it is a working card, so just keep working is kind of the message. Whether it's metaphysical work where you're pinpointing what you want to happen, or whether it's literal, like you have a really hard, sorry, that's my stomach, you have like a really tough job. I feel that you are getting in touch with a deeper spirituality here, where you're seeing that every relationship, every situation is not by accident. And it's, the star card can be about community because it relates to Aquarius. So I think also it can relate to the internet. Maybe this person is like, the window of interaction is the internet, which keeps coming in my readings, up in my readings. I feel like this person is like, feels very like they don't want to look at the negative things in their life. And they also don't really want to look at how they behaved, because I think that you have looked at how you behaved and you feel sorry, but they don't want to look at how they behaved. I don't like this blaming energy though. I don't want to go there, and Spirit's telling me that's not the polarity, is not the answer here. That what's actually happening is that one person, you, are wondering what actually the F happened here with this person. You're like, I don't even know really what happened. And you've been in your logical mind. You've been, you know, you're not really in a feeling place, because I'm not sure why. You tell me. I think maybe in your life you've been shut down. And I think this person brought something that was feeling. They brought a lot of intensity. Okay. I think that you actually cared for this person, but there was a schism or a split here. And what was being offered was not, you know, being taken. There was a sense of like, this is not right. This is maybe wrong. Maybe you had a boyfriend, or a girlfriend, and they also had that, you know, maybe you were interacting in a way that was intimate, but felt sort of illegal, is what I'm getting. This is also a dynamic that comes with my readings lately. King of Pentacles. I'm getting an energy that you want to be sort of like the king of your own castle right now. And that involves money, because it's Pentacles. It also involves sovereignty and self-esteem. You're kind of in a place, maybe you've been through some relationship that was damaging, and you're really not taking shit from people. And I think this other person, when I tune into their energy, it's more bewilderment. They want to say they're sorry, but they don't even, like, they're looking at their behavior. And I even see that they may have said, I'm looking at my behavior. I'm looking at how I behave. I'm looking at myself. But I don't think you really heard them when they said that. I don't think you really listened. You were like, yeah, sure, okay, buddy, whatever. Wrote them off as however. And you were disappointed, and there's a time of like rest, and maybe there was this person sort of like was like parted the seas, is what I'm hearing. That came out of nowhere. You know, Moses parts the Red Sea for his soldiers to escape being pursued by an army. But this is like, yeah, you feel like that's actually what you like about this person, is what I'm getting. This is a very intuitive read of the Queen of Swords. That it's what you like and what you don't like about this person. Maybe it's a woman that we're talking about here. Maybe I'm talking to a man. But if it's a woman thinking about a man, it still works. This person is able to, like, I'm seeing, since it's the queen, she's able to like be like feminine, or he's able to be perhaps like in touch with the feminine side. But the main thing is that they're able to use that feminine intuition to sort of like call shots. Shot caller is what I'm hearing, which is a movie if you want to watch it. Shot caller. So that's what they like about you and what you like about them. But that's also why you're not talking, and why there's no interaction really, because this person was like, okay, here's the rules, and them's the rules, and you broke them, and that's it. And you were like, whoa, I didn't even know we had rules in this situation. Yeah. And this keeps coming up. This is really about like a happy, emotional fulfillment. It's about a family. It's about sort of our hopes and wishes being fulfilled and coming true in an energetic space, and an ending to striving for those goals. It's about experiencing them. I think that there's been some like loss here, like since it's reversed, like you had maybe your financial setup, or even just seeing this experience as a loss, as maybe you're someone who sees people as like you own them, and you felt like some ownership over this person, and it's been a loss. But the main thing before we get to the 10 of the group fulfillment of you being emotionally fulfilled with others and in your life, we have to get to the inner emotional fulfillment. That's the 9, is the inner personal pleasure being fulfilled. I'm gonna do one last card. I'm a very hippie person, and I'm also just like very odd, and I'm spiritual, but I'm also like I'm a psychic and a medium, but I'll say stuff on here that like psychics and mediums like won't say, because I'm pretty out there, okay? And so I was listening to the trees this morning. yes, that's what I do. I listen to the trees and I wonder what they're trying to tell me. Because in my mind, it's an organism. The earth is an organism, and they're beings that are speaking to me. And the trees were telling me, with the way the wind was moving through them, and when I was walking through them, to just be silent and be still, and listen to the small voice within. Be silent, be still actually is funny because it comes from that movie She's All That, which I've watched a lot of movies and TV and read a lot of books. If you watch this, I'm always referencing things, but that doesn't come out of nowhere. I think that dynamic here. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little about that dynamic, which comes from the dynamic comes from my Fair Lady of She's All That. It's based on Eliza Doolittle, which really I believe is based on Bernard Shaw's book about the same subject. Is it called Pyramus? I'm not sure what it's called. But anyway, it's about a woman who has no manners being like created by someone, by like a woman, by like a man. Like, that sounds sexist, but in you know, the story My Fair Lady, Eliza Doolittle, of course, falls in love with the guy who like teaches her to speak well. And I'm not seeing like that you're so like stupid or something, or like you don't speak well, and I'm not seeing that for this person either, but I'm seeing more of like a spiritual education. Okay, so because in the movie, the remake, sort of like remake of My Fair Lady, which is She's All That, in my mind it's related, she is like nerdy, but she's an artist, and he comes to her like art show as a joke, and it's actually this like really intense, like deep thing, and she's like doing performance art, and they are saying like, be silent, be still, be silent, be still, and he's like, what the heck? Like, he's like, this, I think he thought she was like a nerd, but he's like actually like realizing that he's out of his depth with her, okay? And then it goes on, and he tries to make her conform, or, you know, she tries to conform too, but then in doing the conformity, it just sort of like is a way to bring out her beauty that she already has and feel good about herself. And then she just realizes she's just an artist, and she just actually is taking care of herself now, in a different way. I love in that movie the scene where someone comes down the stairs and she's painting in the basement in her overalls, this like painting of, I think it's a moon, and it's very emotional, and it's about how her mother died. See, I'm an artist. I have an MFA in painting and a BFA, so I've spent a lot of time making art, so I'm very attracted to stories about art and artists. And I think it's him, the boy, that comes and sees her painting, and I think he actually falls in love with her for real in that moment, rather than trying to make her into someone else, you know, someone that's acceptable for like the society. He realizes there's something in her, something very raw, that drew him originally to her. I'm also thinking of Born Free. You know, born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows. It's this movie from like, I think the 60s, where, you know, this lion like is raised in captivity because I think it had like some issue, but then it like is set free, and then, or maybe it's reversed, I don't know. It had some period of time where it was living with humans, and then it's like set free, and then like I think the humans it remembers the humans maybe later. Anyway, so I'm feeling like there was a situation where there was some like interaction and like tutelage maybe on both sides of like, here's what I've been through, and the other person's like, yes, here's what I've been through. And it's like you're like seeing through the screen of what someone else, you're like, oh, that's their reality. And then that tutelage, it actually made you shift apart, because you were like, now I see things differently. So you had to set this person free, and they had to set you free, is what happened here. And this is a bit of a convoluted reading, actually. But I think that the sorry feeling that I got in the beginning is like, this person sees that you are like a 1 in a million kind of person. And also they may have like feelings of anger or like upset towards you because you brought up a lot of things for them that they don't care to look at. But let's get a final card from Spirit about this relationship and what we're supposed to know. Choose company, 3 is a crowd. I think that one of you or both of you is involved with someone else, and I also think that, again, inner fulfillment needs to be found before this can happen. I also think that, there's defensiveness, and there's toxic patterns. Maybe this person has like addictions you don't know about. And the true message that Spirit wants us to know for this reading, the message from the trees, which was be silent, be still. Oh, we got this card again. The true message we're needing to hear, Spirit, is, so this is about a choice between 2 worlds. This way, that way. Do you choose to see, how things are? Do you choose to make choices to change things? Do you choose this choice or that choice? Do you choose this person or that person? There's a great song by Nick Drake called Which One? I think Which Will. And it's just like about the choice over like, he's like agonizingly waiting for someone to choose between him and someone else. And he obviously loves this person. But I actually think be silent, be still is like, be in that liminal space. Like, don't wait to be chosen. Don't think in that way where this person's choosing you. Find your inner fulfillment. And with the She's All That reference, I think maybe actually having some appreciation for the fact that this person saw you as this like raw, like moldable, maybe talent or potential or energy. And then they were like, well, I'm not going to be able to make it how I want. And then they actually had greater respect in trying to make you how they wanted. They were like, I actually really like just how it is right now. Maybe I made some tweaks here and there about how this person behaves or whatever, but I actually really like the way things are, which is kind of what She's All That. In the end, he's like, I actually just really like when she's wearing her overalls and she's making paintings in her basement about her dead mother. That's like the most beautiful thing for me,